Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and welcome to episode 5 of the Avus campaign. In the last episode, we started our racing program. We did it by taking the base model A100 and putting the more powerful 45 horsepower engine into it, applying some body modifications, adding a roll cage, and generally just tuning it to become a race car, both in rally and touring car sense, and both of them are incredible in their own rights. In today's episode, I'm not entirely sure how we want to progress. Now, I've read through the comments of the last episode, and some of you want to see sports cars, but some of you want to also see delivery vehicles, so I'll have to see what I can do. But the first thing we are going to do is we are going to fast forward the time, because we have the two models of car ready to be sold, they're in engineering, and we need to know if we can survive it. Obviously, the A200 has the loan on it, which means that even if the A200 costs a lot of money, it will not cost us any money. The A100, on the other hand, cost us 60 million, and although we have 150 million in the bank right now, I'm not entirely sure that that's going to be enough. So yeah, let's fast forward the time and see how it goes. So, we have a little problem. That being that we have lost so much money because I forgot one crucial aspect of this entire project, being that we need engines. Luckily, however, I believe next month the engine factory should be finished, but by that time we'll have taken out a bankruptcy loan, and bankruptcy loans are very not fun. So we are going to have to take one. This is going to be a very bleak time in this company's history, but we're gonna have to live with it. I don't really see any other way of getting around it, so let's fast forward to the next month and hope that this works out, because this is going to be, we're gonna go into the negative. We got 111 million, which, you know what, is okay. I'm okay with that, because we are now going to be making money again simply because we have the engine factory. Yes, the other factory is going to have a month where it's not going to do anything, but at least we have enough money to be able to survive, according to the game, 6 months. So that will cover us beautifully until this car releases, and then we should be making money again. Things have gone horribly wrong. So I have just been given another 132 million in loans, which, not great. Really not great, but at least now the vehicle is released, the engine factory is making engines, the car is being produced, it should be selling. This is not what I wanted, but we're just gonna have to live with it. This is really not good. Okay, well, this isn't good. We are on the eve of 1953, and the engine factory has already had a quality issue. How bad is it? You know what, it's okay. Yes, it's a significant issue, but the actual cost of it all isn't that bad. So I'm just gonna take it, and then life will be great. Actually, I could do a quiet recall. A quiet recall would be just fine. I'm okay with this. So let's do a quiet recall on these engines, because, yeah, a full recall would directly damage the company's reputation, which already isn't all that great, but this has the chance to do the same amount of damage if it's discovered, but we save money, so really this is a no-brainer, so I'm going to choose that. And yeah, life is going bleakly, is the word that I can say. We are making, yes, 18 million in profits, but to produce the car it costs 8 million or whatever it was, so we're making technically 10 million in profit from this one car. But then from all the loans that we have to repay and all the other things that we have to pay, so like marketing and research, which I'm tempted to already cut down on, yeah, we are actually losing a few 100,000 a month, which not great. So realistically what we have to do is we need to make a vehicle that sells well and has a big profit margin so we can make money from it. How are we going to do that? I'm not entirely sure. I have thought about replacing the A100, because despite the fact that it's selling well, it could be doing better. We could technically build a new A100, so a second generation A100, put it into this factory, upgrade the factory at the same time, using a loan. Yes, another loan. But yeah, there's a lot of thinking going on right now, and honestly I feel like that's probably going to be our best option. So now that I've fiddled around with the platform of a potentially new vehicle, I have come up with this, and this is simply on a cost basis. This unfortunately has basically nothing to do with the rest of our company. Technically it's sacrilege to the Avus series, but we need something that will keep us out of the dirt, and it's basically as cheap as you can get this thing. So we've got a ladder chassis vehicle here which has got an incredible amount of production units, which means we can produce an absolute bunch of these. Then front engine longitudinal, only simply because it'll give us better drivability, it'll give us better cooling capacity, and it'll lower service costs, which means that it should be more desirable. As for suspension, unfortunately without McPherson struts we are sort of stuck with solid axle coils, or just solid axles in general, because double wishbones, yeah, they're great and all, but they cost a lot and they have a long engineering time, which I really do not want to have to deal with. Plus their production units are through the roof. So I'm going to stick with this suspension setup. I'm going to see if it works, and then if it does work we will have to make this the replacement of the A100, simply because we need something that sells. So I've thrown in the 35 horsepower engine. I see here there's an option for front wheel drive. I want to try it out. I reckon it might actually be okay. It's going to be very weird. It's a longitudinally placed engine and it's front wheel drive. Now I have no idea how many cars have that, but it can't be many. I know Volkswagen, I believe, did a few back in the day, but yeah, I'll try it out. If it works, it works. If not, I'm just going to immediately go for rear wheel drive. We're just going to do a manual 3-speed gearbox. It's not going to have a high top speed. It's actually going to be quite slow, I imagine, because this is quite a large vehicle compared to the A100. Yeah, I will make it as short as possible and as small as possible to try and save on materials and stuff, but yeah, we're sort of stuck with this or bodies that will be out of date by the time the vehicle gets into production. So yeah, we're going to go with an open differential, hard long life cross-ply tires. It's just going to be a very basic vehicle, and yeah, let's see how normal drums do. I reckon they'll be alright. No under tray, just a standard interior. Do we have basic AM radio? That's exactly what we're going to throw in there. Rack and pinion steering because it's very simple, standard 50s safety. And yeah, we have progressive springs now, which should improve on comfort. Yeah, there you go. We've got progressive springs, and you know what? It's not horrible. What's the 0 to 60 like? What's the top speed even like? It's 110 kilometers an hour, so it's about the same as the A100. 0 to 60 on the other hand is nearly 30 seconds, and that is bad. Yeah, the car weighs 900 kilos, so we might even be confined to having to use the 45 horsepower S variant engine from the A100 Rally, which absolutely demolishes our fuel economy, but does give us better drivability, a bit of sportiness. But yeah, I'm in a bit of a pickle here. I'm not entirely sure which direction I want to go. I mean, we've lowered our 0 to 100 time, or 0 to 60 time, by 9 seconds pretty much, so there's that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to play this smart, I reckon. So I'm gonna have to do some clever design work with this vehicle. I want to get the material costs down. The production units are already really good, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting vehicle. Okay, so a lot has changed. And by a lot, I genuinely mean a lot has changed. So first of all, we now have this hatchback body because the A100 was a hatchback. And I thought, well, I spotted this body while I was looking for bodies, and I was like, yeah, well, this would be a nice continuation from the original A100. Then I got to tuning it and realized that no matter what I did, they were never going to buy this car. Nobody wanted to buy it. I would sell maybe 1,500 at most, and that isn't great. I'm aiming for about 2,500 to 3,000 a month. That would be absolutely brilliant. Then, yeah, so yeah, it's now a rear-engine monocoque chassised vehicle. So it is an Avus car. The only issue is that the production units have taken a small hit, but the engineering time has gone up by almost 2 years, so that is our main problem here. Then, but the good thing about all of it is, material costs have come down by about $500 per vehicle, which is incredible. The weight has come down by 150 kilos, the drivability has shot up, and the rest of it is sort of looking alright. So I am definitely going to go along this route because, one, this car is now very light once again, which is exactly what we're aiming for, to be able to try and get that engine to do anything with this car. And honestly, it's not bad at all. It's got a top speed of 111 kilometers an hour, a 0 to 60 of 26 seconds, and this is the basic 35 horsepower model. So we definitely have a good vehicle on our hands here, and I think this is what we're going to do, is make the A100 successor. It's going to be quite a project. I don't know whether we'll even get the loan for it, but yeah, I hope it goes well. I really, really hope it goes well. this is what I came up with, and I'll be honest, when I started designing this, I wasn't very confident with it at all. I did not like the idea of this being a thing. But now it's been made, I genuinely like it. I had to take a break. I took a break and went to sleep for the night and whatnot, and then I came back and I just immediately had a vision for this car. It was brilliant, because now this looks like an Avus. Its mechanicals are of an Avus, and yeah, I really like it. The interior came out nice, the rear end took a bit of work, but I managed to get it looking alright. And yeah, with some air vents here and some air vents there, I think we've come up with a really nice vehicle. I also spent a lot of time tweaking and working on the actual mechanicals and all that kind of stuff on this vehicle. I managed to get it to a point where $2,370 to make the vehicle. But with a lot of work, I've managed to get to a point where at $7,000, which is roughly what I'm going to be aiming for with this vehicle, we're going to be selling over 3,000 of these models. Now, that will be brilliant, because that's exactly what I'm aiming for. I don't know whether I want to do another vehicle. I know that when I put this vehicle into production, we won't have a van anymore, which is rather unfortunate considering it's our best-selling vehicle. So what's likely going to happen is I'm going to have a quick look to see if a van variant is a good idea, and then I'll put it into production. But yeah, all in all, I'm very happy with the design of this vehicle, and I think it's come out brilliantly. And this is the result, and we are definitely going to keep this. Not because, I mean, it looks cool, it definitely looks cool, but because it will sell well. It'll sell really well. So I am very happy. I've just realized that you see nothing. There you go. We can now open the doors. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I like it. It sells well. It's got carrying capacity of exactly a ton. So I've tuned the suspension a tiny bit to be able to do that. And yeah, all in all, I think this is going to be an absolutely great seller for the company. And it's going to be sad to see the first generation A100 go, but this will sell so much better, and I think we are going to have huge profits with this, simply because of how simple it is to build. So in order to get this thing on sale, we have to engineer it, and it's got a really low engineering time already. So yeah, this is really good. So we're going to optimize the design a little bit. We're going to increase the reliability factor. I would preferably like this to come in about 2 years. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a loan for this vehicle, if I can, and I'm going to reduce research and marketing a little bit in order to be able to make a profit while this vehicle is in production. And that way, while the other vehicle is in production, we'll be able to make money, and this will basically pay for itself. And yeah, all in all, comes out pretty damn decent. So I'm going to increase the automation a little bit. And yeah, all in all, I think we have a genuinely good vehicle on our hands here. And yeah, this is what we're going. Let's stick with this. 24 months, which is 2 years, 2,200 in material costs, and yeah, very happy. As for the factory, we are going to have to retool it, which is quite unfortunate because I really wish I could keep producing this first generation A100, but it's just almost impossible. So yeah, how much does it cost to retool this factory? What's the issue here? The factory must have at least one car selected. Ah, I see. Both of these cars, there you go. Yeah, 2 months to retool the factory. It costs 90 million. Oh dear. And the engine factory is on its absolute limits as well, so we can't even do anything else. But we are producing about 3,000 cars, which is alright. It's okay. I wish I could be producing a few more, but we're just gonna have to live with it. Profit margins aren't as great as I expected, but this is a very difficult situation to be in right now. So let's in fact lower the automation, because that's apparently costing us an absolute load, and lower some of the tooling qualities. This is, yeah, a project and a half. So we are actually producing less vehicles than I expected. They cost quite a fair bit. I think we're making a mistake slowly, but yeah, no matter the result, we should be making money. And we are making a lot more money actually. We're making more money than the original the original A100, which is very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick both of these at about 9 to 9,500, so we get a huge profit margin, which also means that we won't sell as many vehicles, which means that the factories are going to be able to produce enough vehicles to be able to be sold. And yeah, this is a nice little healthy profit margin we're working with here. I am very happy with that. 3 billion after 10 years, we're not even going to have the vehicle be in production the way it is in 10 years time, so that's alright. But in this little short period of time here where we're making nearly 400 million a year, which is just incredible, we will be making some serious money. So let's see how much this entire project costs. We could take out a loan that's a bit bigger. So let's take a 140% loan, which means the entire thing costs 92 million, including the loans. So yeah, how much does it cost? So loan interest amount, loan rate per month, 2.5 million, that's fine. Let's sign off on it. We'll be making money while the vehicle's going into production. The other vehicle, the original A100, is currently earning us a bit of money. We're getting more money from the loan. We might be okay. I think we're okay. So what we're now going to do is we're going to take the A101 out into BeamNG and see if it drives well, if it's quicker than the A100 at least. I mean, that's not really the benchmark for this vehicle. I think simply because it's bigger and has more cargo volume will make it sell better. But yeah, all in all, I think we've got a seriously good vehicle on our hands here, and let's go test it. And here we are in BeamNG Drive, and I love it. Thank you to whoever told me about the chrome trick. It has helped out massively. The bumper is now silver, the wing mirror is silver. It's looking like an actual car and I love it. So yeah, I think it came out alright. Let's give it a little drive and see what it's like. I mean, first impressions aren't bad at all. It does drive. You don't have to give it much throttle and it will do something. Let's have a little test run here. What will it do? Low down acceleration isn't great, but as soon as it gets into its power curve, it actually does, like, accelerate pretty well. Especially considering it's only got 3 gears, I think this is not too bad at all. Let's see if it can corner. Oh, no, the answer is no. The answer is no. Now, the next question is it any good off-road? Because I reckon this car will spend a lot of its time not on the road because, well, that's just what the 50s were like. Especially in Europe, there's a lot of dirt trails everywhere. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun, very fun, it's very slidey. It's very controllable as well. The suspension is nice and soft as well, it's ironing out the bumps really nicely. I think this has turned out to be a pretty damn good car. Even with a handbrake turn, this thing just drifts. I mean, it's not really what you want from it, but as a normal commuter, but for me, that's fun. Look at it go! I love it. It's brilliant. But one thing that does absolutely amaze me is that how good this thing is good at ironing out bumps. I mean, it is incredible. Just the amount of work the suspension is doing and how little the body is moving is just on another level. I am genuinely amazed at how good this thing is at ironing bumps. I mean, just look at it. I'm not even going quick, which is usually when you fall into the holes more. And even then, it's still a very comfortable ride. I mean, look at that. It's just incredible. I don't know how I've done this. That is, like, better than almost any car I have ever made, just in terms of suspension. I am so happy with that. That's incredible. And I mean, yeah, this car isn't an A100. It's very different from the A100. That A100, I wish we'd kept that sort of thing going for longer, but I'm not too mad about this. This is a really nice little car, and I think it fits in beautifully with the brand because it's rear-engined, it's exciting, it's fun to drive, and yeah, it's pretty slow, but it's a tiny car. You don't really notice it. You're having a lot of fun anyway while driving it, so even if you're doing 50 miles an hour, it feels like you're doing a lot more. With that being said, however, we do need to take it around the lap of the island loop, and I'm doubtful that it's going to be quicker than the A100 simply because it weighs more but has the same engine, but we'll see. And as we throw it into first gear and accelerate, and there is a lot of noise and not very much happening. I mean, it's sort of when you hit 2,500, 3,000 RPM that this engine really does something. But Anything before that, yeah, you're you're struggling to move properly. But yeah, going up this hill, we reached 72 kilometers an hour temporarily, slowed down to 66, which is about 35 miles an hour, and it's scary. It's very scary. It's very scary. This is a boat, is how I can describe it. For being so light, it is really, really wallowy. I mean, I don't think I put in sway bars, which definitely would have helped in the cornering, but yeah, this is quite a handful, although that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I mean, it's sort of when you go off-road when you really notice how refined the suspension is. It's on-road where it really struggles to do anything. It's just wallowy, it's wobbly, it's soft, unpredictable, you can't tell what the car's doing, but hey, it's nice. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, this is scary bit, but I'll tell you what, it handled it nicely. Once you get into a slide, it is very predictable, which is not something you can say for most mid and rear engine cars, so yeah. All in all, I think this isn't too bad. I mean, it's very comfortable, probably. I mean, it's got that going for it. I mean, as you go over this hill, you could barely tell that this car has really been moving, and just generally when you're doing something and the car is moving, it is very controllable, and please do not fall off the track. Ooh, the suspension really saved us there. We would have gone flying with anything that's even just a tiny bit stiffer. But as we come into the line, it is 2 minutes and 4 seconds, so it is indeed slower than almost anything that we took around this track. I mean, I sort of expected it. It isn't the quickest car in the world simply because it weighs more than almost any of our cars, but still has the 35 horsepower engine. But I'm genuinely not upset at this. This is alright. It's still in the realms of an Avus. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this thing came out. It was a bit of a tricky decision for me to make because I really didn't want to replace the original A100. I really enjoyed that car, but yeah, I mean, the company has to survive and this is going to have to be the car to do it. It is an Avus in the end of the day. It has its rear-engined, rear-wheel drive layout, and it is very fun in the corners, and yeah, sure, it's a bit mediocre in the straights, but that's every Avus at this point, apart from the S variant of the A100. But all in all, I think this was a success. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and bye-bye!